Okay, so this is going to be a short video about the process of making a mold from a carbon part, in this case the dash. With this mold, none of the holes on this face are going to be represented. Those are going to be cut later, so this will be one smooth face. And what I recommend doing, just for the sake of minimizing file count and being able to find these molds, make a separate configuration. Right click here, add configuration, for the mold, and you can just have these two items, I already did this, have these two items exist in the same file. And the changes that you make in this configuration, for the most part, will not affect anything you do in the initial one. There's a couple things that'll affect it, but for the most part, nothing will do it. So this would be what it looks like if I just created this configuration. I want to suppress those holes, and this was done as a surface, so the easiest way to get rid of that is with the delete face feature. This can be found under the direct editing tab, which can be enabled by right clicking. I use these tools a lot. It's pretty simple. You basically just select the faces you want to get rid of and then hit delete and patch. You almost always want to delete and patch, not just delete, because then you'll have like a weird empty face. Not what you want. You can do that to get rid of holes, and then what I did was I made a sketch representative of the bounding box on my part, and then I made this line tangent to that radius, and I made these other three lines coincident to a point as to minimize the dimensions of my mold. Our minimum thickness, I believe, this is, what is this, 3.1 or so. We don't have a 3.5-inch mold. If we do, I can just modify this very quickly to make this a 3.5-inch mold. So we're going to make it a 4-inch thick mold. And this is just offset. I deleted the dimension from the offset and just added this 4 inches there. Finish that sketch, and then what I did next was created a plane basically on what's going to be the bottom side of the mold by clicking on this line and the right plane of the part. I made it coincident and then perpendicular, so I can sketch on that plane to make an extrude. And all I did was convert the outline of this part when you're looking at it from the bottom, and then do an extrude up to body. Pretty straightforward. The only important thing here in this process is you want to uncheck this box. You do not want to merge these because you want to make a multi-body part. Notice that we now have a carbon dash. I'm going to hide these. A carbon dash, and a what will be foam mold. These are two separate bodies. There's different appearances applied to them. Whenever you first do this, this will look carbon, but you can just go in and right click, add appearance to this body. I can hide this now. If we were to try to lay up directly onto this, we would run into an issue where carbon is falling over these edges. So what we want to do is basically add some flat space on every side so that demolding this is a much easier process. And to do that, create some more planes, same way as I did before, coincident and then perpendicular to the right plane, and then do an extrude up to body, same as before. Same thing on this side. For the right side, since I don't really have a sketch line to go by, I used this feature. My start location is 12 inches away from my right plane, which is where this sketch is. So the extrude is actually starting over here, and it's still going up to body. Notice that for these, merge result is checked. The only one where that wasn't checked was in that first up to body. So yeah, that's how that worked, and then I just mirrored it. And then when I was looking at this, I thought there wasn't quite enough space on these two faces. Ignore that. That did not work. So what I did was I just basically moved those faces. So move face is another direct editing tool, which does exactly what it says. I click on the two faces and you select an offset, and it just extends them. So now our overall size is 24 by about 12, a little bit less than 12, which is, I think, a pretty reasonable size. If I show the part again, you can see there's a lot of area for extra material. Shouldn't be too big of an issue to demold this. Should be pretty straightforward, especially when you can pry on, a little lip on around the whole thing. So yeah, the only thing that I haven't done yet is add something to show where this edge ends, because if I hide this body, you can see this face is just flat. I'm probably just going to add a little divot. So why don't we go ahead and do that. And to do that, I am going to use the sweep tool. First, you need to make some sketches. In this case, a 3D sketch will be the easiest thing to use. So why don't we go like that, convert, and then I want to extend that and that just a little bit. Should be fine. We'll do this. Let's say, just make that 1 inch. Same with this. Inch. Exit that. Come on, exit that. And then this is a cool trick. If you want to make a sketch at the end of a line for a sweep, you can, come on, don't fail me now. It's not gonna work. Well, you can do this. Plane, point, line, boom. Plane is tangent, sketch. I want a circle. I want that, and I want this circle to be 0.4 inches. Okay. Notice it's not centered on that sketch. I don't want it to be. Now I can do a swept cut. This is my profile, and I do not want it to auto select bodies. I only want to modify the mold. So there we go. Now this will have a nice spillover. I think that should be a little bigger. That's gonna be kind of a pain in the ass. So let's modify these. That one's fine. Let's make this 1.5 inches. I'll make this big. Doesn't matter. Modify this. Let's make it. Just double it. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, here's what we'll do. That can go like that, and this. Do this. There we go. That should create the result that I'm looking for, or it just won't work at all. Wonderful. Why is it not happy? All bodies, perhaps? Nope. Sweep operation failed to complete. Ah, the fillet is too large. Or this fillet is too small for that size. Alright, that's fine. Let's see what we can get away with. Nope, that's not where I want that. There we go. There we go. Ah, that is no good. See, I never know what I'm doing, really. I just sort of figure it out along the way, and usually it works out. So, there we go. That should be good. Add a quick fillet to that. Oops. Should be bigger. Make it as big as you can. I don't know why. It should be able to be 0.25, but it won't like that. Right. Anyway, that should work. Can I fillet this as well? Ooh, yes I can. Ooh, I can't do that. Let's do that anyway. Only make our lives easier. Whatever. That'll be right. Let me just make sure that it's not going to cause any issues with things not being accessible. No, that looks good. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this. That'll be fine. That'll route just fine. Nothing's hidden. This isn't really even critical. I just want a nice clear separation. So I'm going to call this mold done. Took me about 20 minutes, including that little bit of modification. Oh, I just need to mirror that. Took me about 20 minutes to do. This is a pretty simple part. Similar to the firewall, really. The front wing will be much different, as well as the bodywork and the rear wings and everything except the firewall, pretty much. But this is done. I hope that was informative. And of course, ask me any questions if you need help.